Hi, this is Libby from Hero Arts, and I am so excited to be here at Scrapbook.com telling you all about Hero Arts Reactive Inks. Hero Arts Reactive Inks are a hybrid blend of pigment and dye ink. The pigment in there helps it stay on top of the surface of the paper and blend like butter. These are reactive inks. Reactive means they react with water. So when you spritz them or you drop water on them, they react and kind of bleach away the ink and leave white behind. It's really fun to do that in your card backgrounds and do different techniques with them. I'll even show you a cool way to do it right through a stencil in this video. But first, let's start with blending. I'm going to show you some basic blending with these inks. I'm going to start with this blue raspberry color. And I'm just going to blend it. I start off by tapping off onto the mat and then blend from the edge into the paper, trying to keep the edge nice and clean. And I'm using these great domed blending tools from Scrapbook.com. Now, a tip I like to do when I'm using these reactive inks, if you do a lot of blending, it'll leave a fingerprint when you put your fingers down on it. So I like to put a little washi tape right on my fingers. And then I'll use that to hold the paper so that I don't get any fingerprints on my project. And you can go as light as you want or as dark. Just depends on the look you're wanting on your card. And now that I have some ink down, I'm going to show you how it reacts with the water. So I'll take this washi off my finger and set it aside. And I'm just going to spritz this with a regular little spray bottle. And you can kind of see the ink reacting with the water. And if you really want the white to show up, you just grab a paper towel and just press it right down. Ooh, that actually left some pattern from the paper towel, which is another fun technique. But can you see how that reacted and took away some of the ink? And here's some other examples of this technique. I went ahead and blended all the colors that we have and spritzed them with water. And you can see the variety of colors. There's over a dozen colors right now, and they make a beautiful rainbow of choices for your card making. Now I'm going to show you the technique through a stencil. I have a panel I've already ink blended with our thistle and blue raspberry inks. And I did the same technique that I did on these other little panels, just blending the inks together with the blending tool. And I'm going to put a stencil down on top of it, just setting it down. I'm not taping it or anything. I'm just putting it straight down. And then I'm going to spritz it. I'm going to spritz it pretty heavily to make sure it's good and wet. And let it sit just for a second. And I'm going to carefully lift up the stencil. And you can already see a little bit of the reaction happening. It's taking away the ink from the paper. And then I'm going to set a paper towel straight down to really help that white show up. It's kind of like magic. I love how that works with the water and the stencil, and you can see the design of the stencil when you get that done. So now that I have this background done, I'm going to use it on a card. I'm going to combine it with watering can and tulips dye from Hero Arts. And I've already die cut some pieces. With this, I'm going to show you how you can ink blend right onto your die cut pieces to add color. I'm going to use some little Picket Fence Studios blending brushes. And I think I'm going to pull in some of my greens, and I'll start with the stems with the green. Key lime, fizz, and green apple. And the technique is similar. You're just getting some ink on your brush and then blending it onto the little leaves. And the watering can I did in Fog, which is a gray color. A little bit of a bigger brush since this is a bigger piece. I'm just putting it all over. And then I'm going to add a little bit of blue raspberry on this, kind of to go with the background, and I also like the combination of the blue raspberry with the watering can. I'm going to go ahead and use my blending tool for this since I already had it inked up and ready. So I like how the gray from the fog and the blue color, the tealy blue from the blue raspberry look together. And I have already ink blended a bunch of these little flowers and leaves, so I'll go ahead and use those on my card. And to put this card together, I'm going to take my blended background and also a piece of paper I'm going to use for a sentiment. And great thing about these inks, not only can you do all this wonderful blending, but they stamp wonderfully as well. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little message to this strip of paper using my Stencil ink. Just going to have it say hello. All right, to put it all together, I'm going to put the message strip using this lovely purple tape, which I love purple, as you might have guessed from my nails and my shirt. I'm going to start by gluing the leaves down with some liquid glue. I'm just putting a dot of it behind where the leaf is going to be. Now that my leaves are down with liquid glue, I'm going to switch to a foam adhesive for my tulips. These little circles are the perfect size to fit right behind my tulips. And since the watering can is going to be over top of everything, I'm not worried about putting a little piece on those tiny stems. They'll be hidden behind the watering can anyway. Okay, now that I have the flowers how I like them, I'm going to switch to a little bit bigger foam adhesive for the watering can. And to finish this card, I'm going to add my panel to my card base using some liquid glue. I love to use liquid glue for this because if I get it a little crooked to begin with, I have a little bit of give time to make sure it's nice and even. And there we go, a card where I've ink blended the background, used a stencil to have it react with water, and even used little blending brushes to add color to my die cut pieces. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more from Scrapbook.com, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a message. Happiness is life handmade.